This is what I'm talking about. Because of all those slave trading and all the billions, the 19 billion Indians that they murdered, and the 4 Indians that were left in this tribe, and the 2 Indians that hid in the other tribe, and then they mixed with Christopher Columbus people, and all that selling and trading and hiding and sneaking and cheating and raping, and I tell you, everybody look alike. I don't care. Look at this. Watch this. I thought that was his baby. You want to talk about looks? See, that's why I don't go by that look stuff. And I want to see some DNA with my kids. I don't care who mad about it. Because I didn't have no natural birth. I had cesareans. They put you to sleep. You don't see the baby for days or weeks or hours from the anesthesia. And the bond is not the same. Watch this.
Pittman, you are not.
That baby looks like him. You see that? That baby looks just like him. And it's not even his baby. That's why I don't go by looks. I don't care who look alike.
When it comes to 1 month old,
it ain't just the fathers, it's the mamas too. They were switching babies in the 80s. I don't know nothing. That baby don't look nothing like him. That baby looks like the other dude. And so in Alabama, we would say the other dude mocked the baby because she was having sex with both of them before and after and during pregnancy. So the other dude mocked her baby. And the baby come out looking like the dude that's not his father. That means she was with him the most. That means she was thinking about him the most. And if she wasn't thinking about him the most, she hated him the most. And that's how you make an impression on your baby with somebody that's not even related to you. Especially when you're doing that kind of stuff. That's why I don't go by looks. I love my kids as far as I know they mine. But all that ancestry stuff they showed me is definitely giving me doubts. It's giving me doubts. When I had my kids, they were switching babies left and right. People was going home with the wrong babies every week. It was common. So yeah, when you come and show me some ancestry mess, and I try to say, well, that can't be right, but you tell me that it is, then that's convincing me that you're not mine. When you say, well, we can't just suddenly just come out looking like you, that means nothing to me. Nothing. Too many people look alike from all the people that got traded, hidden, taken, even just foster home, even without slavery. So many kids, not my kids, was in foster home, or so many families that say, I ain't talking to Aunt so-and-so no more. She had kids and they grew up and whatever. You go to you don't never speak, to get married, whatever. Who knows? All I know is when I had kids, there was a lot of kids that were stolen straight from the hospital. And a whole lot of kids went home with the wrong mother. Yes, it did happen. You can look it up. Anybody could look it up right now. They even made plenty of movies about it, like the one called I Know My Name is Steven. So many movies, because it just kept happening and happening. It doesn't matter that on the way up to the hospital, the only reason they was checking for footprints, and they didn't check them all, because they kept saying that my babies looked like they were white. Not mixed, not Indian, not black. This baby is white. This is not your baby. I don't know. Somebody must have mixed up the band on your arm and that baby's... Is the father white? I'm like, no. Well, we got to make sure this is your baby because the tags... It seemed like they matched, but something must have happened. You're checking the footprints all the way to the door. They did that with Purnell. All the way to the frickin' door. They stopped me again. She went to get the footprints again. Then I got almost out the door. They stopped me again. We'd have somebody else check the footprints again because he had reddish blonde hair and he had white skin. And you're going to sit there getting on my nerves about that. Now, I know he's mine because his face on the side is shaped exactly as it was. I can't really say that, but I know when I seen him. I know that when they brought him to my room after my recovery, 4 hours of recovery after cesarean, I got to see him for a minute, but because I'm not like normal girls, I was not bleeding. So therefore, I was dying because I'm not normal and I wasn't bleeding. Whatever. So I got to see him once. He had yellow jaundice, and they brought him in the room with me so that his vital signs would go up. Because whatever they were doing for him, it wasn't working. It wasn't working. So I know that's my baby because he couldn't live without me. Now the other baby, I know he's mine too because he couldn't live without me also. Andre, because he couldn't live without being in the same room with me. They could not explain it. Some scientific power that I have, that if he was out of the room, he was dying. Literally, no matter machines or not. And he brought him back in the room. His vital signs went up with no medication, no help, no machine, no nothing. And so some chick had been in my house while I was in the hospital. And I'm not jealous because I feel like this. If a guy that claims that he wants to be with me is going to be with somebody else, then I just let him go and I will step back. But you're not going to be with her and be with me. That's not happening. That is not happening. That is not going to happen. Never, ever, not ever. So, it's not about jealousy. It's about respect and integrity. Okay? What I didn't like was that she had sex in my kid's bed. And they were babies. And you don't have sex in the kid's bed. And you was a stranger from the street. Matter of fact, the health department, Boston Health Department, was looking for that girl, searching for her, because she was giving VD to every guy, sucking on every guy with her mouth, with parasites in her throat. Okay? And they were searching for her. Nobody had to ask her. She was asking guys to do it so she could just keep spreading the disease. I don't know if she was doing that or she was addicted to just sucking. I had a friend like that. She was addicted to that. And, you know, that's not my thing. Not to be like with him and 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 him. You know, if I do something, it's for love. And I haven't felt that but once. So that's not happening. Not like that. That's disgusting. But anyway, all the germs is what I was thinking about on my kid's bed when I came. And I saw that nastiness on my kid's bed where all that nasty, drippy green and brown and ill. Just nasty and yellow and just ill. And I'm like, why is that on my kid's bed? And then he gonna talk about something. Well, you don't like to do nothing that much. And she was willing. Well, I don't care what she was willing, but why did you do it in the kid's room, in the kid's bed? You see toys everywhere. That means the toys might have germs on them. I don't know if she touched it. And that's what I was thinking about. It ain't got nothing to do with jealousy. You're nasty. Why was you in my kid's room? That upset me so bad that she didn't have any conscience, and him too. How can you not have a conscience over here dripping all over the kid's bed and the rug where they sit down and play, and you're ill? And even right now, it's making me sweat just thinking about how I wanted to choke her for it. That's the truth. I'm not even going to sit here and lie. Even after all these years, I'm getting hot. My temperature must be, and I got low blood pressure. And that's just, how could you not? Ew. Anyway, I couldn't get over it. And I went to look for that girl. I was 19 and poor as hell. And I didn't ask for nobody for nothing. I ain't crying about nothing. I ain't complaining now. I'm just telling a story. And I'll tell you, that nasty thing, after I cleaned up the kids' room, and I had to throw away all those toys because I was not taking any chances. I was not going to bleach them or pine sol them or none of that. I threw them out because those babies were little and babies. And I'm not having no nastiness. I don't care. I didn't even let my family kiss my kids. I don't know. I don't know what nobody did with their mouth, and I don't care. And that's how I was, and I'm still like that. Don't kiss my kids. And they used to say, you're mean. I don't care how you feel. I don't care. Don't kiss my kids. They never had no rash on their face. They didn't have no bumps on their face. That's from grown people touching them babies and just touching them all the time. And just don't touch them. Just get your hands out of here. I didn't even let their father touch him. I don't care. I didn't like it because he was out there and he was having his life and his free time, and that's fine. I don't stop nobody, but don't come in here touching my kids. I don't care about your one drop of sperm. I don't care. Don't touch my kids. I'm getting excited. I'm sorry. And I'm not sorry. It's just so disgusting. I'm real serious about that. I'm really, really serious about it. I had to throw away the mattress. I'm a poor 7, 19, 18, whatever. You gonna make me throw away stuff, buy stuff all over again. I'm gonna have to kick your ass because you don't have no conscience. And you're gonna remember me. And you're gonna remember next time I don't care about him, you can take him with you. Just don't come back with it. And don't bring your nastiness all over here and my kids' stuff. You went too far. Don't go in my room either. I don't like that. I found a pair of panties under my bed one time, and they was not mine, and I threw the whole bed out on the spot. I don't care. I don't care about your excuse, slapping me and calling me a Virgin Mary bitch and all that. I don't care. Don't bring them in my house. Don't bring them nasty germs here. And that's when I caught hepatitis B. And then the lupus was activated because him and that nasty girl, there was a needle. When I put the mattress and the box spring out and I got stuck by that needle that was in between the rail or whatever, underneath the daggone in between the whatever. And I was told that I was going to die and everything. And then the lupus was activated. And then the lupus ate. The doctor said the lupus ate the hepatitis. Oh, thank you. That was the only good blessing from that. But when they mess with my kids' room like that nastiness, I threw the bed out, threw the toys out. And I put the babies in my bed. That means you ain't got nowhere to sleep. I don't know where you gonna sleep. I don't care. And I ain't mad, but you ain't sleeping in my room. Just me and my babies are sleeping on this bed. Nasty ass. It ain't like I'm gonna get over it. You're disgusting. You made my kids could have got sick from that, and you didn't care. And that's all I care about. That you're so nasty that you wasn't worried about the kids. You're disgusting. And you have no soul. Okay? Now, I went looking for that girl. I was 18, 19, and stupid. And I went to search for that girl because she didn't have no morals. And I almost lost my life. I almost went to jail forever. I went to search for that girl and beat her up and stab her in the heart. And I just couldn't. Like, you can hear me now. Imagine when I was 19 and it was fresh in my head. Oh, good God, that girl I didn't have no mercy. Just got out the hospital, cesarean, and my stomach crossed, around the bikini cut or whatever that leaves a little, like a kangaroo pouch. But it's better than the other one. But either way, I'm walking through Springfield with these stitches, and I'm looking for this girl. And I told my mother, hold the baby, I'll be back. My mother's like, what are you going to do? Yeah. She knew something was wrong, and she couldn't stop me. And I was too quiet, and I was too quiet, and I was too calm, and I wasn't talking like I am now. It's when I'm quiet that everybody needs to worry, and I'm not telling nothing because I'm making plans. And the police even know that, my MO, they know. As long as I'm running my mouth, everybody's safe. Anyway, I went searching for that girl with my mouth shut. And I found out where she was, and I didn't even be in the street, but I found out somehow. I don't know, some kind of, I found out. And I didn't know nobody, but I don't know. I hunted her down. You go to jail for that. And I found out where she was. She was right downstairs in my building. And I went and I knocked on the door. And And she opened up the door and she said, "What do you want?" And I said, "You was in my apartment upstairs." "I don't care. You wasn't there and I didn't see you." "I don't care that you didn't see me." "Well, I'm not going to be with him." "I don't care about him. All I care about, you was in that bed in my kid's room. You're nasty. You got drippy stuff everywhere, green, brown, and yellow. And the health department told me about you too." And then from behind my face, my hands, my back or whatever, because I slapped her a couple of times and then I held the door so she couldn't close it. And then I had this big chef knife because I just wasn't satisfied with that. And I just wanted to take her out. And that's the truth. I'm not lying. And as I raised my hand and I was 1 inch away from her heart. And then the dirty dog had his, I didn't even know he was behind me, following me probably the whole time. And quietly, because I didn't hear him or feel him. I don't know if he has a soul. I didn't feel none of his vibration. And he grabbed my wrist. And just as I was like 1 inch from her chest with that knife. And I was very upset about it. And I reached around and he took the knife and then me and him was fighting. And we was really fighting. I'm like, "Oh, now you're protecting her." Oh, hell no. So, I went and I got my baby. And then I went to his house with the baby, and I stayed upstairs at his mother's house in the attic for like 3 days. And then he comes up there and he has pus running out of him. This late ain't no kids up. Don't let your kids listen to this. He's like, look. And I'm like, "Ew, get out of here. I don't care if it's your mother's house. Get away from me and don't ever touch me or my baby. You're disgusting. Ew. I'm glad I don't do nothing with you. I don't care. I'll never touch you." And then I took the baby after like a couple hours of looking and thinking about that nastiness in my mind. I took the baby downstairs again. Here we go. And I put the baby in his mother's arms and I said, "I'll be back." Oh boy. I went to look for the girl again to beat the mess out of her. And I did beat her up, and I did do it. And I never hit people first, but you're not going to come in my house and sit on my kid's bed and all that drippiness was, it was everywhere. Oh, I just wanted to take her out for you, do that to my kid's bed. You see them toys and baby bottles. I'm sorry, God. I just got to, Bottom line is, I got in trouble. I went to my room and I laid down. I was almost asleep. And there was a knock on the door. It was the police. Why they have to come 5 and 6 at a time just for me? 4 and 6, And they came in there and they said, "Get up out the bed." And I said, "What you mean get out the bed?" They said, "You know what you did?" I said, "Well, let me put my shoes on first." I was already dressed because I always slept in my clothes. And y'all know why. And, of course, the baby daddy was like, "You always sleep in 2 pair of pants and 2 shirts and 2 bras and all of that." And whatever. I don't care, whatever. That's what it was. So I'm like, "Let me put my shoes on first." I was screaming at the police. And they were like, "You're going to come on right now." And they were trying to grab me up. And they were like getting a little rough with me. And I was not afraid. I went with them after I got my shoes on. "You gonna let me put my shoes on?" And they walked me down the stairs and they put their hand on my head and shoved me in the car. And like, wow, a little rough, And took me to jail because, first of all, that was not a black girl. They wouldn't have cared. So do the math. And, they took me to jail. I was in jail for the whole weekend. You know how that go that weekend. It was Thursday. Friday, they claimed they didn't have enough time. So I had to stay 4 days. And then when I went to court and they were going to give me, the judge said, "You're going to jail for 10 years. Point blank, period. You're going to jail for 10 years. And as he said that, and before he could hit that mallet on the desk, because I didn't even fight for myself, and I just stood there, and I was very quiet, not like I am now. Since I came back from resurrection, it seemed like I can never be quiet. And I didn't even fight for myself, and I just stood there quietly. And this nurse comes in. She says, wait a minute, wait a minute. I don't know how they found out. Wait a minute, wait a minute. She can't go to jail. She can't go to jail. Now, I know this baby's mine. Scientifically, we can't understand what's happening, but the baby's dying. And if the baby's not in the room with her, he dies. He dies. We can't do anything. We tried it even in the hospital. We don't even understand it. There's nothing we could do about it. If she goes to jail, the baby dies. She gave the judge a bunch of paperwork from the hospital of results of what happened every time and every day in the hospital. And they took me to the hospital to get my baby where he was, because the grandmother had to take him to the hospital. First, his eyes were leaking. That was always the first sign. His eyes would start leaking. And then it's like he just was melting. Like, I'm melting. Yeah, honest to God. Vital signs going down really fast. Real fast. Turning blue and everything. So that kept me home, and I signed this paper saying that even if somebody bothers me, if I beat them up, I have to do 10 years in jail. So I had to run a lot after that. It's sad. If people thought I was afraid. They didn't know I was afraid of that cage. Why would I want to go to jail for 10 years straight? I didn't like the 4 days in that cage. I was mad. I didn't even sit down. And I just had a baby, and I couldn't even sit down. I was standing up at the bar, just standing there for 4 days. I didn't pee. I didn't bleed. Nothing. That means I was dying, too. I was just standing there. So we went to get the baby from the hospital. They had to check me out. Then my stitches were coming loose, and and they had to lay me down and put me to sleep for a minute to do something, because they were saying because I wasn't bleeding and that was going to kill me, whatever. I was fine with it. And as long as my baby was in the same room with me, he was fine. They didn't have to do anything to him but bring me next to him. So I know that was mine. I know that was mine for real, for real. I don't, he can't live without me at all, scientifically. No explanation for it. Okay. But anyway, meanwhile, back at the ranch, this is Lody, the mysterious being. Lody, the mysterious being. Say it again. Lody, the mysterious being. Peace, love, and light.